this was just one mistake. And so there is that balance, that give and take of finding kind of just the right course. But here, I think you're right that Jack Smith feels a lot of pressure to get this done before the election, which is why he's charged only Donald Trump and named some co-conspirators, but has not charged them. Whereas Fani Willis has said, I want the jury to see the whole thing. 19 defendants, all of these schemes, including Coffee County and the intimidation of Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss. So it's all there. In some ways, these two cases kind of complement each other because we get both the streamlined narrow case and the broader, more comprehensive one.
Glenn, let me ask you this about Mark Meadows, 4 hours testifying in his own effort to move his Georgia racketeering indictment to federal court. Did it cast any light on what he may have shared with Jack Smith in his investigation and indictment and case and prosecution of Trump in the federal case?
I think it was fairly consistent with what we had been generally hearing about his interactions with the prosecutors. I think nothing was particularly revelatory. I think what is interesting, and to Barbara's point, is that you're seeing a splintering, right? Meadows is represented by George Terwilliger, who is largely regarded as probably the best defense lawyer currently representing anybody in any of these cases. And this was clearly an attempt to differentiate himself, but you're going to be seeing that from each of these individual defendants. And one of the advantages that Willis has that Smith doesn't necessarily have is this dynamic in which everyone is kind of racing to save their own skin. Mm-hmm. And they're not, they're not behaving as a unified front as Trump has the luxury of doing in D.C. One case, one defendant, one defense team, although it is likely to change. Here you have a dynamic in which Meadows is attempting to assert his own individual defense. Others are going to continue to do that themselves. But the bottom line is there's only one place for any of those people to point, and that is up. And that is at Donald Trump. So it creates a dynamic potentially that could be very toxic for the former president.